Hey, what's up? This is Todd Smith. I'm back with another video. In this video, I want to talk about Behringer and how and why they've taken over the studio recently in the hardware field. If you've been following this channel, you know I have a huge surge of Behringer gear that has now hit the studio, which is 5 pieces, and I'm very interested in what they do next. There's a lot of people in the outside world who think they know why I have so many Behringer pieces and why I'm talking about them a lot, but I wanted to give it from me, my story, why I have so many Behringer pieces, and why I'm so interested in what they do. But before we go into this topic, I need to thank you for taking the time to actually check out this video and this channel. Without you, the viewers, the Patreon supporters, and the people who support me via Bandcamp, I would not have the motivation to do this every single day, push my dreams forward, and I can't thank you enough for that motivation. To get down to the core concept of why I'm getting so many Behringer pieces and why I'm so interested in what Behringer is doing, you have to get down to who I am, and this goes long before YouTube. Even before YouTube, I would never buy the most high-end gear. I always got what I could get, and I pushed it as hard as possible. I was always very content with mid-range to budget gear, and then really just pushing it and maybe only getting 1 or 2 really expensive pieces at some point, but I really never invested in a massive amount of really expensive synths. I always had that mindset of get what you can get and push it hard. When I made my YouTube, that was my central core concept with this videos, these jams, my music, was showing people what I could do with mid-range, lower budget gear. Taking that stuff, pushing it as hard as possible, maybe even helping and influencing some people who have some of that gear. Obviously, maybe having a chance of getting some people into my music at the same time. And ultimately showing my concept and what I believe to the world. Use what you got. If you go back to the beginning of my channel, or thank you very much if you've been here since the beginning of my channel, you know I started out on Korg Volca, Teenage Engineering Pocket Operators, Roland Boutiques, and I made hundreds of songs using that type of gear just like I'm doing right now. I actually ended up trading my Korg Volca for a Casio CZ3000 and an Ensoniq ESQ1, because you guys know I have an Ensoniq addiction. And my plan was to eventually maybe get some Volcas back. And I actually still might. There's a few Volca out there that still catch my eye. So don't write me off on Volcas completely. But that's when Behringer started to pop their head up. You know, they started to talk about their future projects. And I was like, really? You know, and what they were stating and what they say they're going to do, it sounded interesting to me and it fell exactly into my category. Kind of told myself, let's hold off on any more new gear. Let's wait to see what Behringer brings to the table when it comes to budget. You know, that was my plan. It's all right. Okay, let's just wait to see what Behringer does with this Model D. I was blown away. I was absolutely floored with the Model D for how much I paid and the sound quality I got. I was lucky enough to get it on sale at a cheaper price from a local store. So for the price I paid when I brought it home, I was floored and I was making tons of videos. Behringer just plain impressed me. So then I went Neutron. Boom. Impressed again. I was massively impressed with just the knobs of the machine. Forget about this whole semi-modular section. And then I got the Pro 1. By far the most organic. I mean, just this Pro 1 has some sound qualities for a mono synth, which are just massively impressive. I waited for the first one, rode me into the second one, then the Pro 1. So at that point, I was sold. Then you have my 2 most recent pieces, which popped in the studio, which is the TD3 and the Crave. By far the most simple pieces out of the 5. They're very simple compared to the other three, but both have already offered amazing sounds to my mix. Me, I love stacking a bunch of pieces. I love stacking a bunch of mono synths live. I do a lot of, as you guys hear, atmospheric, kind of electro, industrial. So Behringer took over my studio just by supplying what I need, what I craved from the very beginning, and what I've always chased. I've always chased mid-budget gear, stuff that sounds great, doesn't cost a lot, that I can push really hard. In my opinion, Behringer, this new gear released is the best of that in history of synths. The best. So when I've got the best experience I've ever had in that field 5 times in a row, guess what? My next piece is going to be a Behringer. I'm sorry, man. And the only relation I have to Behringer at all is the fact that they've shared 2 YouTube videos on their social media page. I've never contacted them. They've never contacted me. And that's how Behringer has taken over my studio, and that's why they've taken over my studio. And honestly, at this point, it's not going to stop. If they don't stop, that 2600 is a must, absolute must. Yeah, it's going to be an amazing ride. I am absolutely excited to be in this part of synthesizer history. It's a great experience. It's going to be great seeing new music being born from it, new artists being born from it. Maybe people who, sold things in the past and don't have the money to reinvest in vintage of today will be able to relive their experiences. I'm just super amped to see it. Crazy that I experiencing it. I'm loving it. I'm trying to pump out as much music as possible at this point. I hope you guys are enjoying it. And that is my story. And what is your story? If you've started buying Behringer pieces, how many have you got? Why are you buying their pieces? Why has Behringer showed up in your studio? Is it taking over your studio like mine, or is it only 1 or 2 pieces? I'd love to know. And as always, stay positive, stay creative, support each other.